Hello guys, welcome to this video. In our previous video, we created a responsive Bootstrap login form. In today's video, we're going to create a registration form with Bootstrap and we're going to validate the Bootstrap form and we're going to add eye icon to the password field such that if you toggle on the eye icon, the password is going to show, and if you toggle it back, it's going to hide the password. And we're going to do some sort of validations with JavaScript. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and remember to on the bell icon so you'll be notified each and every time I load new videos. And if you have not watched the previous videos, I will drop the link on the description box below, or you search the channel and look for Bootstrap playlist and you follow along. As well as we have a course for JavaScript for total beginners, right? So I've already mapped up a step how we're going to do this. First of all, we're going to create a folder where we're going to work, and we're going to create HTML documents in the folder, then link the Bootstrap CDN. I remember in our previous video, I said that the next video I'm going to do, I'm going to use Bootstrap CDN to work with it. So I'm going to show you how to work with Bootstrap. The way we're going to create this form, I'm going to show you the very simplest way how to go about it. Even though you're a total beginner, this course is for you. And the next thing we're going to do, we're going to set up the form and use JavaScript to validate the form. So I'm actually going to talk about regex in this video. These are the form fields we're going to work with: full name, username, email address, gender, and password. So I'm just going to show you the overview of what we're going to do in this course this morning. So this is the kind of form we're going to build, something like this with a background image and the form itself. The form is fully validated using regex, right? So if I try to enter a sort of name that is here supposed to be full name, I enter number, so I'm going to have an error message coming up. But if I enter any good thing and go, this is going to be good and all the fields are validated. All right, I believe you love this video. Please remember to subscribe to my channel and also on the bell icon, so when I load new videos you'll be notified. Let us just start the work straight away. All right, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to create the folder where I'm going to do all this work inside, so you follow along. So in my working directory, I'm going to go to document, then I'm going to create new folder. I'll call it bootstrap underscore form right away. So I have the folder here. So for if you're using Windows, you can drag this icon and drop on VS Code icon on the desktop, then it's going to open, or just open it with Visual Studio Code. So I'll just double click on the folder, that Bootstrap folder I just created, and open my terminal and use code space dot to open it with Visual Studio Code. So I have the folder open now. You can see form, Bootstrap form here. That's the folder and nothing is inside. So as I've said, we are going to create HTML document inside here and some sort of folders. So first of all, I'm going to create HTML document. I'm going to call it registration.html right away. If you are not familiar with HTML, you can search our channel. We have videos for HTML and you can follow along as well. So I have my HTML. The next folder, I'm going to create folder this time, and it's going to be called asset. All right, so later we're going to create files inside there. The next folder I'm creating is going to be images, because we have one background image there, right? So now I'm going to show you the easiest way how to get the form done. You don't need to, just need to follow along. Now, for us to set up the form, first of all, I need to get the image and put it here on a form. You can get any image depending on what you like. But now I'm going to search for illustration on Kuku or any browser of your choice. Then I'm going to go to images tab, or the images tab in the browser, then I'm going to have so many images here. So I'm just going to look for that image, this particular image, like here. But if you want to use another one, cool, you can still use. So I think there's the image straight away. So I'm going to right click and go to save as. I'm going to go to that my folder and look for Bootstrap form. Look at it. I'm just going to save it inside the images. I'm going to name it bg1 bg1.png. Then I'm going to save this. Now if we go back to Visual Studio Code, you're going to see that I have one image up there, and this is the image we're going to use. All right, so now the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to go to Bootstrap. I'm going to go to Bootstrap website. So I'm going to type Bootstrap straight away on the browser. Then when Bootstrap loads, I'm going to look for kbootstrap.com till I'm on version 5.3 Bootstrap. So we're just going to go to document. What I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this. That's to include Bootstrap, CSS, and JS through CDN. I'm just going to copy it. I'm going to click here, copy. So I'm just going to have that full structure of HTML. I'll paste it right away here. I just paste it here. So why I copied it is because the link is already here, right? Okay. If you are not familiar with Bootstrap, you can check our channel for our Bootstrap playlist. So this is the Bootstrap CDN link for Bootstrap CSS, and this is for Bootstrap JavaScript bundle.min.js, right? Okay, so we can visualize this on the browser and see how it goes. I'm using one extensions called Live Server. If you don't have it, you can install it straight away on your system. So if you go to the extension tab in the Visual Studio Code, you search for live server. Remember, you have to be connected to the internet. So this is the particular one I'm using, this live server. You can search for it and you install it. So that's what I'm going to use. All right. I'm just going to open this on the browser. So I'll right click the HTML file. I'll just right click the HTML file straight away. So I'm going to go to open with live server. The live server we just installed. I'm going to click here. Then we'll wait for some times for it to come up. So I have it here. You can see the work straight away. So we're going to test whether live Bootstrap is being linked. So I'm going to use some Bootstrap class to test, maybe BG Danger straight away. So let's check out. Good. We have our Bootstrap link. Remember, for this Bootstrap to be linked, you must be connected to the internet. So you have to connect your system to the internet before this will work. And that's the major difference between the Bootstrap CDN and the Bootstrap you downloaded to your system. All right. So now we're just going to set up our form. In our previous video, we talked about Bootstrap grid. So I'm going to just set up the grid system I want, because if you look at this form, the form is at the center, right, of the page. So I'm just going to set it up straight away. To do that, I can use div.container. I'm going to have a container class that will contain all my forms. The next thing I'm going to use, I'm going to have a row that is going to take all of my form straight away. And the next thing I'll have is a column that will take over, that will help my form to be at the center. So I'm going to have a column with a class of code that LG that 6 is going to be too much. Let's use 5. Then I'm still going to have a class of codes dash LMD for small device dash. This time around, I'm going to have 6. All right. So I'll do this. So let me show you what will happen on the screen, so I can easily use padding 4 so that you're going to see. Then I'm going to put some background color like info. So you're going to see how it will look on the screen. So let's check it out. So we just have this. This is the size of the form. Now we're going to put it on the center, right? So to put it, I'm going to use MX dash auto, right? That's margin left and right. We want to set it to auto. So it's going to move this to the center, right? Okay, this is the beauty of Bootstrap, and this is going to be very responsive. All right. So I was just to show you how that works. So I'm going to remove the background and the padding and the MX and the padding. Sorry, we need the MX auto so that we can continue, right? So if I remove those colors and the padding, you're not going to see anything, but definitely is on the center of the page. All right. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to have an inner div, another inner div with a class name of form inner, form dash inner, right? Okay. The div is going to have, okay, let's have this first. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go and go to Bootstrap again, Bootstrap website. I'm going to go and grab the form I'm going to work with. So if I go to form overview, straight away, if you look for form on this side, if you scroll down, you're going to see this very first basic form that have this. I'm going to grab it. The idea is we're going to customize it to the way we want it to be straight away. Okay, so I've grabbed it now. Let's check our site. This is what we're having for now. But remember, this was what we have, right? So we're just going to do something like that straight away. Okay, so let's quickly set up the page. We are on the page setup at this time. We are still setting up the form now. This is where we are. All right, so we're going to set up the form. I'm just going to remove all these labels and all these things and have many other inputs. So let's do it very fast. All right, so I'll remove these labels, remove this one. I don't need it. So I'm just going to remove some attributes on the input fields that are not okay. If you are not familiar with HTML, you can check our playlist on the channel and remember to subscribe to our channel. So I'm going to remove all this that are not necessary for now. I'm going to remove this label. They are not necessary for me. Okay, form checked. I don't want form checked. Okay, I think I'm only left with few things. Let's check the site. This is the only thing we have. And we're going to have registration form up. So I'm going to have heading 3 up here, H4 rather. So of class text center. Okay, I'm going to call it registration. Registration like so. What expect where we have it already. So I'm going to have some form of margin button. So it's going to give some margin button. Inside here, I'm going to have MB dash 3. I guess 3 will be alright, or 4. Let's take 4. Okay, we have some caps between this and this. Alright. So the next thing we're going to do, I'm just going to duplicate this input fields and bring up all these things that we need: full name, username, email, gender, and password. That's just what I need to set up now straight away. So I'm going to give input of type text, remember text, and this is going to be for what? I'm going to put placeholder so that we know what the input is for. For now, we don't have anything that the input is for, right? You don't know which is which. So I'm just going to put full name here. So now you can see full name, right? Okay, so we can now know that this field is for full name. So we have the full name. I'm going to give it a name. This name is necessary. I'll tell you how we need to use the name later. And the name I'm going to give full name, full catalog name. All right. So the next thing we're going to definitely do is to continue setting up this page. Okay, so I have the page. The next input field is username. So just permit me, I'll copy this one that I've already done. I'll paste it and I'm going to call it username. User, username, and this is going to be username, right? Username, right? So the next input I'm going to have is going to be email address. So I have email. I just have, let me create email one email address. So it will be of type email, remember, and this will be email address. Email address. Then the name is going to be, let me bring it down here. It's going to be email straight away. Okay. Then the next input field, I'm going to have gender, and that is going to be a submit select button. So I'm still going to have div. Instead of input field, I'm going to have select, right? So I'm going to have select element, and this is the name is going to be gender, right? I'm going to have the name gender. I don't need ID for this, right? So I'm just going to have a class, so it's going to meet up. The class is going to be form select, select. And I'm going to have those options. Option one, the value is going to be empty. I'm going to say select gender. All right. So I'm going to bring up the options for the gender now. So this is going to be male, and for the value and what will display is going to be male, right? I'm going to explain this. This is female, and what is going to display is female. Right. Why you have value female and female, this is the actual thing that will be submitted. This one is just for people to see. That's how select options works. All right. So the next thing we're going to have is going to be password straight away. This is what we have for now. This is the select. You can select it. So it's password we're going to have. We already have password here. Next thing, remember that this password is going to have an eye icon, right? Let me just put placeholder as placeholder. I'm going to say password, and the name is going to be password. Name is going to be password. All right. Now, the reason we're going to have I added to this, right? Okay. But before then, you can see that the form is up and does not have background. I'm going to bring the background now. So the first thing I'm going to do, first of all, is to bring the form down small. After I bring the form down small, I'm going to put background. So let's just tackle that very fast. Inner form, I'm going to bring padding of, okay, let me first of all bring it down. Up here, I'm going to have margin top of 5. Just watch what will happen. It's going to come down small. Then inside this inner form field, I'm still going to have a margin top of 5, so that it will come down very well. All right, I have it now down very well. So the next thing I'm going to do on this inner form, I'm going to have padding of 4, so that I have some good padding. Right. So and now this class is not a bootstrap class. It's my custom class. So I'm going to style it. That was why we created this folder. I'm going to create a new style sheet called main.css, which I'm going to use to style this. So I'm going to style this form inner now, give it the background color. So I'm going to call it form.form inner because it's a class. Form inner is a class. I'm going to give it background color of hash E2. So if you don't know about these colors, I advise you check our channel on CSS class, CSS playlist, and you're going to understand this. And another couple of things I want to do, I want to give border radius. If you check the form now, you're not going to see anything. Why? Because we have not linked it to the HTML. So I'm going to link it now. So at least you'll be seeing what we're doing straight away. Let me align this. Okay. So now I'm going to have my custom style. So I'm going to link it. Link. We use the keyword link. So dot forward slash this my asset and it's inside my assets, right? Look at it here. So if we check back the site now, we see what we have, right? Okay, we have that fine and good. Now, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make this particular text to be at the center, and I'm going to curve the edges of this form. Now, so first of all, I curve the edges. I'm going to have border radius of 8 pixels. 8 pixels. So if we check the form, you see that we now have curved edges. You can increase it depending on what you want. If you need 10, you can just say you have a very curved form like so. Okay, you can leave it 10 right away. So let me just bring this button to the center and expand it small. On my Here on my button, I'm going to bring another div of text class text center straight away. So I'm going to put this inside of here, right? Okay. So if you check now, it's here, but I want to increase it and make it big, small. So I'm just going to use the CSS class, which is W for width 50. I'm going to make it 50. So we have something like this. And another thing, I'm going to bring it down small so I can have empty dash 3. Let's check out. Okay, I think this is good. Okay, I can still bring down this down too. So MB dash 3 as well. Let's check out. All right, I think this is good. Okay, so we have the form set up, but notice that this have a curve and have an overt and is small. I don't want it to be small. I want it to be a little bit big, right? So I'm going to introduce one class to the form. Every input class, I'm going to pass in form form control LD, right? This is the class, and if you look, it's bigger than everyone. This one is big, right? Okay, so that's just what I need, and I'm going to add it to all of the input field in their classes straight away. Okay, notice that if you add it here, it's not going to work. I'm going to show you that, and I'll show you how to handle that. If you check back, you're going to see that all of them are big, but this select is not big. That's because it's not a class. So for you to do this, you're going to call it form select LD, and you can see that it's now big. Okay, next thing I'm going to do, you see these edges are curved. So I don't want the edges to be curved again, right? And I don't want this box shadow to be there. So that's why I'm going to work on it now That was why we have a style sheet. Okay, so if we go back to uh, in the CSS class, I'm going to call the form control and form select and remove it. So I'm going to have form control, that's one, and dot form select. These are the two classes we have here. If you check, every input have a class of form control, right? All form control, this is the class. Then this is form select for the select button of the gender, field of the gender rather. Okay, so we just call the form. So what are we going to do? We want to make this. I don't like the border radius that is on the input, and I don't like this shadow. We want to remove it straight away, and that's why we do this. First of all, we'll do border radius. We'll give it 0 pixels. 0 pixels. Let's check it out. Okay, see that we have the straight form now, but if you click, we're still having this, right? We're still having the box box shadow on focus. So we're going to remove it. I can just copy this, the entire of this, right? And paste here. And I'm going to add a pseudo class that's over here. And I'm still going to add over here. So this will remove it. What am I going to do? I'm going to do box shadow. I'm going to give class of none. So let's check it out right away. Click, this works fine. Okay, you see the box shadow is gone. It's gone. We don't have it anymore. Oh. All right, so we have this done, and everywhere is good, and it's going fine now. All right, box shadow. Let me just apply importance to it. So, okay. All right. Oh, what do we have offered? No, sorry, it's supposed to be focus on focus. The pseudo class is focus, sorry. Oh, all right, no wonder. Okay, so we have settled this now. Okay, so everywhere is good now, and we have the form. You can select all this. The next thing we're going to tackle, we're going to add icon to this particular password field so we can toggle it. So you're going to search for uni, search for unicorns. This unicorns on the browser. Click on this very first link. That's the icon we're going to use. Then scroll down, look for this link. If you have not logged into your browser, you may not be able to see this link, so it will require you to sign in with your Google account. So you can just copy this. Once you sign in, you see the link complete. So I'm going back to my HTML, so I'm going to add it up down here on my HTML. So font icon. So I'll just paste it here. So we have it. Next thing, I'm going to go to scroll down. You're going to see free one here, line one. I'm going to click. Then I'm going to search for I, like so, here. So if you search for I, you're going to see this. I'm just going to click this first one, I, right? So I'll come down here. This is the class. I'll just click on copy down here. I'll go back to my working directory. Here on my password section, I'm going to paste this on my password section. But Before I paste that on my password section, I'm going to put it inside a span so that I'll be able to style it very well. So I'm going to have a span, then I'm going to paste this inside that span, right? All right. Once I paste this now, if you go back to the browser, you're going to see it down here, right? Okay. But remember there's a class in Bootstrap that we call input group. So that's what we're going to call this up here. We're going to add a class. This is a Bootstrap class. We're going to call it input group straight away. So if you call it input group, you're going to want to say that we have this icon down at the side now. So what likely can we do? Since we have the font icon there, we're going to style it straight away. So to style this straight away, we're going to go back to our CSS and call this input group. I can just copy it and grab it from here. Then remember the span is there. I'm going to come and call dot input group into span straight away. I'll open the class. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to first of all give it line height. So you're going to say how it's going to be. The line height is going to be 3. If we go now and check, this is going to be at the middle. That's what line class does. So next thing I'm going to do for this to align very well, right? Standing alone and makes this input short, we're going to play around it and see how we can make it do that way. So I'm going to have still inside here, I'm going to have background color for that span, specific, specifically for that span hash 123. This is what will happen. It will join together, but notice if you click, we are having it separated. We're going to handle that, right? And also, we're going to add border to it, like so is fine, like this. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do inside here, I'm going to make sure that I remove this border right from this thing so it will it kind of join together. So I'm going to go back to my style and call dot form control, and I'm going to have a type of type equals to I'm going to have password, right? Remember that this is the type we have. This is the type here is password. So that's what we are calling. All right. So we're going to remove border right. We're going to bring it 0 pixels and we're going to supply important to it. So check out, let's link out together, right? It has already linked up together and you can see that this link board, this border, right, is not there. So we're going to add border to that span. So we're going to have it join together and works. So I'm going to say border, we're going to add border top and bottom and right to the span. And this is the span. Can have border top, border left. We're going to have 1 pixel solid, and the color we're going to use, we will make sure that we use the same color, right? How to know the same color? You can just inspect this and know the outline color, right? I'm just going to put the color like D2E2EB. This is all right. So let's check it out. Okay. 1 pixels solid this. Okay. That's border left. I'm going to supply important to it, so it's going to reflect on it. Okay, or I just apply border everywhere once, so I have it. Okay, so I'll just leave it v like so. All right, the next thing we're going to do, we have added this so we can type. At this moment, if you click this thing, nothing happens. Right away, nothing absolutely happens. Right? Okay. So we're just going to add functionalities to this thing and see how it will work. All right. Before we add functionalities to this, I'm going to add the background image that we downloaded. We have the background image up here. So in my style sheet, I'm going to call the body. Style sheet, I'm going to call the body. So body straight away. I'm going to say background, call background image rather. Then I'm going to have the URL. So I'll specify the image, right? I have image folder, images folder, then slash. I can now specify, okay, can I finish? Double this, all right, it's double dot. This is the image. Then if you add it, you're going to see it like this. We're just going to play around it to make sure that the image works. So we'll have background repeat. We're going to have no repeat, and we're going to have background size, and it's going to be proper straight away. Next thing we're going to have is going to be background color. We're going to have color that will blend it like so it will be, and it's going to be RGB color straight away. The first for the red and green and blue, so I'm going to use the red 36, and for the green it's going to be 36 as well, and for the blue I'm going to have 52. Okay, that's the kind of color we'll have. So if you check the side, you're going to see something like this on the side. You don't have to panic, we're going to handle that straight away. So we'll have to have background blend mode. That's I'm just going to have it. I'm going to have a value. The next thing I'm going to add there is to extend this. I don't want to see this down. This is what background blend does to the site. If you do it, it's going to take this color, right, and blend it a kind of transparent. So I'm going to extend this so that we can see very well. So I'm going to use minimum fill height. I'm going to use 100 feet, that's few points. Okay, so fill height. So we have the form straight away, but currently this is not working. Everything is just like that. Nothing happens, right? Okay, so we got the form set up straight away. Now, next thing is to validate the form and attach these functionalities to the form. So in that case, I'm going to add some other element to the form, right? We're going to add where we're going to display error messages. Let's say you enter form that's not good, like so. We're going to display error message, right? Okay, on the form. But before we do that, let's make this work so that we know that we are totally done with this. Okay, so with this we can have let's create an external style sheet. So inside the asset, I'm going to create a JavaScript file that is going to manage the form, right? So I can call it form.js, right? Form.js straight away. So here First of all, I'm going to give this form an ID. In the form section, I can have an ID. Then I'm going to call the form reg form. That's for registration. Reg form. Good. Before we continue the validation of this form, we want to make this itoggler to work, right? Okay, to do that, I'm going to write the script inside here that will make it work fine. Okay, to write the script, first of all, we're going to give this uh, password a class, the password field. So I'm going to add, let me break this. I'm going to add another class called password here. And we as well going to have this icon, a class, and the class is going to be, it will be used to show or hide the password dynamically. I'm going to say PW feasible, or I'll just call it show hide password. That's PWP, right? Okay, let me just call it that way. So you know that this is will show or hide the password, right? Those are the two classes we give to this thing. Now we are good to go once you just give it that. In our script, we're going to get this by ID, and we're going to get this by ID, and we'll play around it. So I'm going to have cons document cons show. Let me just copy this. Let me just copy the show hide password. I'll just copy that and paste equals to document dot document dot query selector all. This is the one we're going to use. Why do we use this? So that if you use more than one password in the field, we're going to get it, right? So we're going to place that show hide password inside here. So if I log this on the browser, you're going to see that this will get the element in question, right? Let me just log it, so you're going to see. Let's go back to the browser and open inspect terminal and go to console straight away, right? Okay, we are not going to see anything for now. You can see nothing. That's because we have not linked this particular file to HTML. So down here, we can link it using script tag to dot forward slash asset forward slash form dot. This will just link it a custom JavaScript. So if you check, you're going to see it here. This have gotten this element. Look down this node, but this he has cutting the eye. Okay, that's just what we wanted to do, and be sure that it has been cutting. So every other element will be cutting that way. So I can just copy this thing and paste here straight away and rename it. Remember that the password field, we gave it a class. We gave it a class name of password, right? But it's better we call it password field. Let's call it password field, so you will know exactly what it's for, right? Password field. Okay. So I can go back here, and I'm going to replace this. I'll just use Control D to highlight the two. I'll just paste it. So I edit it here and I edit it here once. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to use for each loop to go through all the HTML page to look for this element with this particular name, show hide password, right? Okay. So that's actually what I'm going to do. So I'm going to say, if you type for each, like so here, just select this for each, it's going to give you the snippet. So I'm going to copy this as an array and paste it here, right? Okay, so I'm going to use, I can call it icon. Should I call it icon? Icon. Let me just call it icon. Okay, icon. No, I don't want to call it icon. I should call it icon component. So icon comp. I'll call it I for icon. All right. Anything you call it does not matter, just for you to be consistent, right? I think I should give it a more reasonable name. Let me call it icon element. Icon LT. Yeah, that's for elements, right? So now that I've gotten all of them, I'm going to attach a listener to it. Icon element dot add event listener, and it's going to listen to the click event. Anytime they click on it, it's going to really listen to it and know that it has been clicked, right? If you don't know about event listener, you can check our JavaScript course and you fully understand. All right, so each time this icon, any icon element, right, with this class is clicked on the page, is going to listen. For instance, if I log this, you're going to hear click. We will open the terminal, the inspect terminal again, like so. Let me clear this. If I click this, watch. Oh, we already have error as we have error on line 7. Oh, really? I did not add it on quote, so that's actually it. Okay, let me clear it again. Let's click the I this time. We're going to see click. It's going to listen to how many times this thing has been clicked. That's what event listener does. Okay, so let's go back to the page now. I'm just going to remove this I was to show you. So it's going to listen to whenever that is being clicked. So if it is clicked, what are we going to do? We're going to look through all the icons with a class password with this class password field. Remember that this is the password field, the real password field. We're going to look through it and dynamically override the class. So that's what we're just going to do. So password field, we're going to use for loop again. Why we why we are using for each loop is to make sure that if it is more than one password field there, it's going to do the same thing without us writing for different of them. This password field, so I'm going to use pw field, right? Okay, straight away. So what am I going to do? I'm going to do if PW, I'm going to check the type because it's actually this type that makes the password. It's actually this type that made the password to show. So if I change this to text now, anything you type here is going to show, right? But if I change it to password, anything we type is not going to show, right? So we're going to dynamically change the type to text when we want to see it and change it to password when we don't want to see it. So I'm going to say if I'm going to use if statement, if pw field dot type, right, dot type is equals to password. That means we're checking now. Then we're going to set it to text, right? First of all, we're going to check if it's equals to password. We're going to set it to, we're going to assign it a text, right? So text, right? Okay, that's just what we're going to do, right? Okay, then we're going to also check again and replace the eye icon, right? Remember that we need to change this eye icon, right? Now, now the eye icon is supposed to be like this. So when is showing, supposed to show that cross for you to know that you're supposed to hide it, right? So we're going to dynamically change the I icon. So if it's equals to password, we're going to change the icon. So how do we do that? We still look through all of them, right? Remember that we have the icon here, show or hide password, which was here. There's a show hide password is the icon, right? So we're going to look through it automatically. So I'm going to copy it here. We're going to use for each loop again so that if we have any other uh, icon there on that same page, is going to do the same to them. So I'm going to call it icon right away. So I'm going to say icon dot right class list. I'm going to replace the class list using the replace function in JavaScript, right? So you can see the class list, the old one that was there and the new one I'm about to replace. The function takes the token string which is the token, then the new one we want to replace, right? Okay, so remember that when we were checking the icon, we have this the first class we carry, and this now the class we're going to carry, right? And this is the class I slash. Let me just copy this and go back to my HTML and keep it. If I keep it somewhere here, let me just put it somewhere here. I'll remove it later. So this is the class, right? Normally the former one is here, right? Okay, so let me just replace the I icon straight away on the browser. Then we move further and see what we can do. So I can replace it now by going to my file. So I'll have this, so I can have the old one, then the new one. The old one, the name is of the old one is, this is the name. So I'm going to copy it and paste it here, then the old one. Now the new one rather, this is the new one and this is the class. I'll just copy this and paste. I'm going to remove this. Don't leave it there so you not have some sort of errors, right? Let's check it out and see what will happen. Okay, cool. So let me type something. Let's do a click. Cool. It's like this was not replaced, right? Okay, let me type again. Okay, this will not be replaced, but it's showing, right? And it's not hiding. Can say that it's showing now, but it's not hiding. By the time we finish working on it, it's going to hide. Oh, but I think that the other one's supposed to be there first. I guess so. I don't really know, but I guessed, right? This is show, so it's supposed to show hide. All right, I think it's good. All right, so we have this icon straight away. Okay, now we're going to have an else to this. What if it's already open? What do we want to do? We want to set the password field, this particular password type to password, right? First of all, the password, and we want to as well change the icon back, swap it. So I'm going to grab this. Okay, and paste it here as well. But this time around, we're going to swap it. Let me just grab this. I'll cut it and I'll keep it the first. So we have it right there. Let's give it a try and see what really will happen. Show password. Okay, so if you click, it's showing, but the icon is not changing. Can you see that? The icon is not changing. It's supposed to change the icon for us. So let's check what really happened. Let's open the console and check if we have any errors on the console. Okay, we have some errors on the console, right? We have some errors in the console. So I think we missed something. All right, I think this is what we missed straight away. We're supposed to remove this. I guess so. Okay, we're not supposed to have this cap. I guess. Okay, so let's try it again and check if we are having errors on the console. Let's try it. Password. This console. Let's check. Okay, we are having it working fine now. So that was the problem. If you click back, all right. So I've successfully activated this. We can hide and show password on a click. So we have this done. Next thing we're going to do here is to run the validation of the form. I wish to carry out the form validation still straight here. So I'm going to have form validation. Okay, so first of all, we're going to git, and I think this is the last thing on this. Once you finish the form validation, we are good to go. So I'm just going to validate the form very fast, and I'm going to talk about the thing. First of all, we're going to grab the form we are going to validate. Remember, we gave the form an ID of rec form. So I'm just going to copy this because I'm going to take it here down here. I'm going to do cons. I'll name it here. You can name it anything, but I like naming it the same thing. So I'm going to use document.get elements by ID because we use ID for that. Here we use document, we use ID, we give the form an ID. So we are using document.get element by ID. So we're going to attach a listener to the form each time the form is being submitted. So add event listener, and this is going to be submit, right? Submit listener, and it's going to take a function with a parameter, and this is going to be e.prevent. If you did not put this prevent default, your form will be reloading at every submit. I'm going to show you. Let me show you at once. Normally on if you submit form, let me just submit, watch, you see that the form reload. That page reload, watch again. The page reload. Normally that's how form behave in HTML. But if you don't want it to reload on submit, right? You just had you just need to add this e.prevent default. If I submit it now, watch, nothing happens. It's not reloading, nothing happens, right? But it's actually submitting. All right. So now we're going to, if there's an error in this, if I fill the wrong thing, right, and submit, I'm supposed to have error display. So we're going to declare those error div very fast so that we can display those errors. I'm going back to the HTML file. Inside each and every div, like this name div, I'm going to declare an error div. So div dot with a text danger class which will display red, right? Okay, that's just what I want. Then I'm going to give it a name. That's going to be name error. That's a class name we're going to call, right? That's the idea. But if you check here, you're not going to see anything, right? Because we have not actually put text. But if you put text inside here, it's going to show like this, right? So the idea is we're going to dynamically put the text when error occurs. Okay. So let me declare for this as well. Div.text danger. Then the class name is going to be username error. Okay, same thing here. I'm going to add, let me just copy this and paste. Permit me to do that. I'm just going to copy that and paste. This is going to be email error right away. And I'll do the same thing here. I'm going to paste. And this is going to be gender error. Same thing with password. Password is going to be down here. And I'm going to have password error. All right. So everywhere is good now. I have the error message. The idea is we're going to grab all the error messages. So we get error component, error diffs. That's what we're going to do now. So once the first one is name error. So we're going to have document.query selector. We're going to use query selector this time. Query selector. So we're going to pass in name error. This name error will just declare this particular one. Look at it here. Let me just copy from here. So you're going to understand. Okay. So permit me, I'm going to copy the whole of this and paste like 5 times. We have the will have the field. So I'm just going to go to the form and grab the error names, the class one by one, and I'm going to highlight and press on Ctrl D and paste it. That's what I'm going to do. Email error, the same thing here. I'm going to just Ctrl D and I paste it with Ctrl V. The same thing here. Ctrl D, Ctrl V, right? And last but not least, I'm going to use Ctrl D, Ctrl V. Good. So we have gotten all the errors component. The idea is we're going to dynamically put text inside them each time errors occurs. All right. So since we have this, the next thing we're going to do um, is we will reset the error here. Reset error component. We'll reset them here, but I'll show you why we need to reset them. Then we're going to get the form input. Input. Now, how do we get the form input? The form input is anything somebody type here, we want to get it, right? On submit, when they click on submit. So I'm going to show you how to get it. I'm going to use const. Remember that we declare name, right? For each of every field, right? Like here, I have the name here to be full name, right? So I'm going to copy this. That's the only way you can get the form input through JavaScript. So I'm going to call this form, the name of the form. So I'm going to use dot this particular name. This particular name will give it on the HTML components, right? Then I'm going to do dot the name then dot value, right? All right. So if I should log this thing on the console, when I type and click on submit, we're going to get it. Let me log it so you're going to see. So I'm going to log full name. All right. Let's open the console and watch what is going to happen. Console. I'm going to clear this. So I'm going to type full name. Let me just quickly, I'll click on submit. Good. You see that I got the value here. That's what happened. This is what helped it to get it. So we're just going to get all the values for all the 5 inputs. I'm going to copy this. I'll paste it 5 times, right? Okay, so I'm going to go to pick each of their name. I've already picked this, so this is the name for this one. Name for username is username. I'm going to come back here, Control D and paste. Go back. The name is email straight here. and gender. And last but not the least, the name is password. Password. I'm going to paste that here. Here. All right. Okay, so we have all of them here and they are good. The next thing is I'm going to use regex to validate this, the pattern of what person should enter. This is what we call front-end validation in programming. So I'm just going to talk about pattern, regex pattern. Let me just regex. Now I'll attach this file to you. A regex, known as regular expression in full, okay, it's a sequence of characters that define a search pattern. So you can use it to match a character, right? A pattern, you can bring out a pattern. That pattern is called regex in programming. It is a powerful tool used in programming to match and manipulate text based on patterns. So the idea is we're going to define the patterns of what we want to get from a user. So if you enter anything outside the pattern, we're going to give you error message. So ranges allow you to perform tasks such as searching, replacing and validating string in a flex and efficient manner. These are the use case. So I've spent time to explain the ranges we're going to use in this thing. I'm going to attach a link of this document on the description box below. So do well to go and check on it and download it and go through it. And you can as well do further research about it. All right. So the first regex pattern I'm going to define is for full name. So I'm going to use cons. I'm going to name it name break. So equals to the regex always start with this, and I'm going to use this anytime you see this. I've already explained it somewhere here on this page. It's always used to define the matching the start of the string. This particular thing I do, all right, that's actually what it's used for, to match the beginning of the string. Then I'm going to bring a kind of set of match, right? So the name is going to take capital letter A to Z and small letter A to Z, right? And it's going to take space, right? No numbers are required, right? Okay, so I just define the pattern. So if the user input did not match this pattern from capital letter and small letter, then it won't work. And it's going to take more than one or two, and this is the end of the string. All right. So it's just going to match this one or two. If the user input did not match that, we're going to have an error. We're going to send the error to the user. So this is username regex, right? We want to define now. For the username regex, we're going to have a set of capital A to capital Z and small a to small z. Then we're going to have numbers 0 to 9, which will allow the user to enter numbers as well if they want to combine their username with numbers. Then we're going to have email regex const email reg is going to have it's going to have it's going to be a little bit complex because email has some level of complexity. So we're going to take all I explain it here for the email regex. So this first one matches one or more words character at the beginning of the string. So it must be one or words character. Then the second set matches this. Let me just grab it from here and paste it there straight away. So I will not waste time typing this, right? So we have it matches this and matches all that. I've already explained it here. I'm going to attach the link on the description box below so you follow along. The another one I want to define is the password regex, and I also explain the password regex down here so you can come and check so you have a better understanding of what it does. So I'm going to have password break as well. This is equals to, I'm going to paste it down here. You can as well keep it there as well. All right. So since I have all my regex defined, I'm going to use if statement to validate it now. Then I'm going to use if not, right? If not name regex, if not name regex, right? Dot text. Then we're going to pass in the name. Remember that we got the full name here, right? I'm going to pass in the name, which is now the user input. Dot text, right? The user input. I'm going to show you what it does. Name regex dot text. If you enter the correct input that matches this pattern we just apply, it's going to return true. But if you enter the pattern that is not correct, it's going to return false. Let me just show you what it's going to do. If we go back to our web page, I'm going to open the terminals. I'm still there with this link. If I just type, let me type number first. You know, normally it's supposed not to be number. You say it returns false. But if I enter the right thing, number, whether capital lock or capital letter, it returns true, right? And now I want to use negation to check if not. When it is true, it will make it false, right? Because of how I want to do it. When it is false, it will make it true because if statement only execute when the condition is true. So when it is false, I'm going to make it true so that this error will trigger. So I'm going to use this error div we collected, name error. I'm going to dynamically set an error message, but inner HTML will help us to set. I'm going to call it invalid name input. Okay. Then not only this, I need to terminate it so that it will not go no further. So I'm going to use throw new error, right? Like this. You can put anything, maybe terminate. This will not show. This will not show on the screen, only on the console, which is not necessary. So now let's see what happened now. Let's type wrong input. Okay, like numbers instead of name. Boom, we're going to have the error, right? And this will show like this because of the throw new error. So it will not go any more further, right? But if we later type good thing, let's say goodness, like so, with it and click, the error will still be there. Despite is good, right? And this thing will turn true. So we're just going to reset this error div each and every time error occur. That was why I put this comment. So how we can do that is to call this name error, name, name error dot inner HTML equals to empty, right? Okay, now let's check. We'll enter the wrong thing first and click on submit. Error entered. Then we'll enter good thing and click on submit. We see that the error has gone, right? Okay, so that's how to reset it. I'm just going to do this thing for all of them at once so that I know we have reset all of them here before the error will occur, right? All right, so this is cool. Okay, so I'm going to copy this particular and paste number of times. So I'm going to do this for username. I'm going to grab this for username. I'm going to enter username straight away, and I'm going to do this for email address. And I'm going to pass in the email address, and I'm going to do this for password. Gender will be not validated, or you can go ahead and validate the gender. Remember to change all their error div. So this is username error component, this is email error component, and this is password password error component. So use gender we did not validate it, but you can still define gender is only taking this letters, right? So you can just define for gender. You can have gender cons gender gender reg is equal to, I can have this, okay. So plus dollar sign, and so I can have cap lock A to Z and small letter A to Z. Can just have that, right? Okay, so I can as well define for gender. So immediately is email address is gender. I can tap gender. Oops. I can just do gender break, and I can pass in gender, and this will be gender error as well. So everywhere is good now, is validated. So let's test it and see. All right. So wrong input, I have wrong input because I have numbers. So I can enter Goody. Good, it's going fine. Username. If I enter anything and click space, I'm going to have errors. Oh, cool. Did we add this thing there? Oh, we missed something here. We did not add plus dollar sign, right, to match the end. All right, so good one. Next, I just put this and put this. I'm going to have the error because of the spaces, so I can have this. All right, so email, if I just put anything without putting at and all the stuff, even HTML, this is going to do that. Gmail.com is going to go fine. Gender, I'm going to select gender. So password field, oh, we are having a password field misbehave now. So let's reset the password field. But before we reset it, let's say password supposed to take at least capital letter, small letter, and the six in number. So if I enter password blah blah blah, right? And see, look at what we type. If I do, I'll still be having the error. If I go cap lock password like so, I'll still be having the error until I add something like special character. I'll still be having, and I need to add a digit. Then the error will go, right? Okay. How complex it is. So let's fix that. Get the error display here. We're not going to add it inside here. Let's rather outside, right? So let's enter wrong input and see. Uh-oh, where do we have it display? Oh, our name, our name. Okay, I'll just carry one, select gender. Okay, we have it displayed well now. All right. So because of that, I'll remove this margin button so that the error will not go too far like so. All right, so this is cool. We have it set. So everything is good. We can type anything here and check and off it. I believe you like these tutorials. If you like it, remember to subscribe to our channel on the bell icon so when I load new videos you'll be notified every time. Please subscribe to the channel, comment. If you have a special video you want us to do, just drop it on the comment section below and we're going to attend to it as well. On the next video, I'm going to show you how to build a complete website design using Bootstrap in a very simple way.